guys, Cassie here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are taking a short break from my trope videos that I've been doing this month to bring to you something new, and that is the new to BookTube tag. I've been wanting to do this tag for a while. This, by the way, is not the BookTube newbie tag. They are different. They have some different questions, and I just happen to like these questions better, so I decided to do this one. We've got 15 questions to get into, so let's get started. Question number 1, where are you joining us from? I am from Northern California, and that's as specific as I will be on this public platform. So yeah, there's that. Question number 2, how old are you? I am 25 years old. Question number 3, why did you join BookTube? I am joining BookTube because I would like to be part of the community, the BookTube community. I've been making videos on this channel for a while now, but mostly AuthorTube related videos, so writing tips and stuff like that. But lately I have been getting a lot more into reading, and I've been enjoying, having discussions with people about books online, and I just would like to be more a part of the official BookTube community because I think that that's the best place online right now to have great discussions about books. I've also been making more BookTube related videos lately as well, like with my review series for Jenny Han's P.S. I Still Love You, and just like other BookTube stuff like wrap-ups and reviews and TBRs and things like that. I don't do stuff like that a ton, but I have been sort of gravitating more in that direction the more that I read. Because the more I read, the more I want to talk about the books that I'm reading. So that's what I'm doing here. But mostly I would like to be a part of the BookTube community to get to know more of the people involved in the community. I have a lot of AuthorTube friends now, and some of those people, I mean most of them, I'm sure also enjoy books, because if you write books you probably enjoy reading them. But there are other people in the BookTube community who aren't necessarily authors, so I haven't really been able to connect with them as well, not being an official part of that sphere. So that's what I would like to do with this channel. Question number 4, what is the meaning behind your channel name if it's not your actual name? Basically, I am a big Supernatural fan, and also my name is Cassie, and some people do call me Cass, so it's still sort of like adjacent to my own name, but a little more interesting. I also really like the name Castiel, but I wanted to do something more interesting than just that name, so I kind of put together, I don't know how to describe it. You can see it right there. You know what it is. Basically, it's just a fancy way to say Castiel, and I came up with this name, I think, when I signed up for Twitter, and nobody had used it yet. It was available, and then every time I've signed up for like any kind of social media account since then, I always try that name first, and it doesn't seem to be a name that anyone has picked yet, so it's worked out really well for me actually to have a cohesive like brand throughout all my social media platforms, because that name is usually available. Question number 5, what type of books do you read / want to talk about here on your channel? I would say that I mostly read romance, like that is my favorite, or at least books that have a really heavy romantic subplot. It doesn't have to be the main or only plot of the story, but something that has a lot of romance in it. I very rarely find myself interested in picking up a book if it doesn't seem to have any kind of romance like described on the back blurb. But I do also really like certain types of mystery books, like Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train are some of my favorites. I also recently read The Woman in Cabin 10, which I really enjoyed, and those don't necessarily involve much romance, but I enjoy that genre as well. Also, I would say I do read a lot of young adult novels, but I also read adult novels too, but nothing really outside of that. I don't read like middle grade or lower. I'm also not a huge fantasy fan, which is kind of like different than what I've seen a lot of on BookTube and even in the AuthorTube community. A lot of the people I know write fantasy or read fantasy, sometimes even exclusively, like they only write fantasy or they only read fantasy. And I pretty much exclusively never read fantasy, so that's something about me, I guess, that you might want to know. But I do really like dystopian novels like The Hunger Games and stuff like that, or things that are kind of fantasy adjacent, maybe like low levels of fantasy. I don't like things like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I know, shoot me, but it's not my jam. So, question number 6, who are some of your favorite authors? I honestly don't know if I really have a lot of favorite authors. I just kind of have books that I like, and I don't necessarily like them because of the author, or like there aren't a lot of authors that I could say like, oh, I'll just read anything that they write and I'll enjoy it. The only one that comes to mind that falls in that category for me is Sarah Dessen. I do have a ton of Sarah Dessen books, and I almost always enjoy her books no matter what, and anytime I see a book of hers come out, I'm like, oh, I'm getting this because I'll like it. But aside from her, I don't think I really have many authors that I do that with. It's just like books that I like. Like, I really love The Hunger Games, but I don't know, I haven't read anything else that Suzanne Collins has done, so I can't really say she's my favorite author, if that makes sense. So I'm not really sure how to answer that. I guess I would say Sarah Dessen because she's the only one I can think of who I really read all of her stuff just because her name is on the cover and I know it'll be good. Question number 7, what is the last book you read? The last book I read was called The Safest Lies by Megan Miranda, I think was her name, if I remember correctly. I listened to this book on audio and it was fantastic. I enjoyed every second of it. It was a very thrilling, like fast-paced mystery, and there was also quite a bit of romance in it as well. So it was kind of like everything that I love in a book combined. And I was very pleasantly surprised by it because I'd never heard of it before. I just kind of stumbled upon it on Scribd and thought, oh, I guess I'll listen to this because there's not really anything else I want to listen to, and I couldn't put it down. Like, I usually just read or listen to audiobooks at work, and then when I'm at home I do other things, but with this one I just kept wanting to listen to it even when I was at home and ending up not having time to do other things, or I had to like force myself to stop listening to the book so that I could do some other things instead. But yeah, it was really, really good. I liked it a lot. So I'm supposed to be on question number 8, but on my thing it says question number 9, but there's still only 15 questions, and I thought there were 15 questions to this tag, not 16. So I think I might have just completely left out a question. So if I did, I'll look it up after this and I'll answer that question down below in the comments. So we're just gonna skip question 8 and go to question 9. And question number 9 is, what are you currently reading? I'm actually currently reading 3 things. One is P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han, which I'm reading for a sort of read along and critique thing video series on my channel. So if you're interested in seeing that, there are a few videos of that out already, and another one should be coming out this Thursday, so make sure to check that out. The second one I am listening to on audio, and that is The Siren by Kira Cass, which I am not enjoying very much. I think it's really weird. I mean, I probably will do an official review, but my hot take right now is that I don't understand why these characters are even sirens. It just seems like that part of the story is kind of pointless, and like they could just be mute people. Like, that's what's interesting about them, is that they can't talk. I don't know. I don't like it. It's weird. I think the whole fact that they're murdering tons of people all the time and we're supposed to somehow feel bad for this girl, like as if she's a victim or she's being forced to do this, but she's totally not being forced to do it because she could just stop and like she would die, but okay, like maybe it's your time to go. Maybe instead of, you know, having immortality and murdering a bunch of people, you should do the right thing and just sacrifice yourself. I don't know. I don't have a lot of sympathy for the main character, and I think I'm supposed to. So I don't think it's a very well-written book, but I'm gonna keep listening to it anyway because I have nothing else to listen to right now. And the third book, which I am reading right now that I actually love, is The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. I super, super adore this book. I can't get enough of it. I keep not really having enough time to read lately, which is so frustrating because I really, really enjoy it and I want to see what happens. Question number 10, what do you use for bookmarks? I use these bad boys. Now I have to pick them all up so I can show them to you. That was silly. So I have a lot of movies and like TV shows on DVD, but I don't like to keep the cases because they take up way too much space. So I throw away the cases and then I keep the DVDs in like one of those big CD case things to conserve room. Sometimes old like box sets of TV series will come in like these cardboard cases, and the bindings of the cardboard cases say, you know, the TV show, and they have little pictures on them. So when I threw away these cases, I cut them up first and I saved the bindings for bookmarks. So these two are from my friend's DVDs. The blue one is very well used because it's my favorite. I don't know why, I just like the color. And then the rest of these are from the show Smallville, which is one of my all-time favorite shows on the planet. I have lots more of these. I think I have more Friends ones also, but they're just in books somewhere in my house. So that is what I use for bookmarks. Question number 11. Which do you prefer, hardbacks or paperbacks, ebooks or physical books, owning books or borrowing books? I would say if I'm going to own a book because I really, really love it, then I would probably prefer to have it in hardback. However, I do kind of prefer to read paperbacks, I guess. Like they're a little easier to read. I don't know. If it's just like a book I'm reading, I don't really care that much. But if I'm specifically going to buy it because I really like it, then I'm gonna get whichever one is prettier, and usually that is the hardback. With the exception of the Selection series, which I actually looked up and I really liked the paperback versions better, and I thought that they were pretty and like nicely sized, so I have those in paperback. As far as ebooks or physical books, I definitely prefer to read physical books, but there are some benefits to reading ebooks as well. Like currently I'm reading The Chaos of Standing Still on ebook, which is, I've realized that one of the nice things is that it updates you on your progress. Not that, I mean, you can look obviously at your book and see how far you've gotten, but it has like an exact percentage. Like I think I'm 73% done with The Chaos of Standing Still right now, which sounds like a lot. Like I think there's still quite a bit of book left, but I feel like I'm almost there. It's also kind of easier with ebooks to like bring them with you, of course, other places. And also I found that I maybe read a little bit of my book in times that I definitely wouldn't have gone and like grabbed my paperback book. Like if I just have a couple minutes or I'm like standing in line somewhere waiting for something, I might just like pick up my book because it's just on my phone, which I obviously wouldn't do with a paperback because I wouldn't have it with me. But if I'm planning to just sit down and cozy up on the couch and read a book, I definitely prefer to have a physical book rather than reading it on my phone. And when it comes to owning versus borrowing, I absolutely prefer to borrow books because I don't know if I'm gonna like them or not. So I might as well not spend a bunch of money on something that I might not even enjoy, or I might not even finish if I'm really not enjoying it. And also when it comes to like movies and shows and stuff, I love to watch things over and over and over. But when it comes to books, I just don't really do that unless it's a book that I just super adored. Even then, there are some books that I really, really loved, like Gone Girl, for example, that I don't know that I'll ever read again because it's just not going to be the same when you like already know the story. Like I don't think I'm ever going to read it again. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that book like now that I've finished reading it. I definitely love to utilize my public library and borrow books and donate books as well when I'm done reading them. Basically, the only books I own are ones that either I haven't read yet or ones that I have read and I know I'm gonna want to read them multiple more times. Multiple more times was not the way to say that. I like to borrow books from the library the first time I read them, and then if I really, really like it, like with the Selection series by Cass, I borrowed all of those books from the library and read them, and I loved it, so now I own that series because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want to read them again at some point because I loved it so much. I honestly don't understand why more people don't borrow books from the library because it's free and it's just so nice to be able to just read a book with no stakes. Like it doesn't matter if you hate it, you can just stop reading it. It's not a big deal. You're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I just spent, you know, 15 to 20 bucks on this book and I didn't even like it. Then what do you do? It seems really silly to me, but that's just me. Well, me and Reads with Cindy. Question number 13, how did you discover BookTube? I do not recall. I've been making writing related and book related videos for a while through AuthorTube, which I know I discovered that by, I think, stumbling upon one of Jenna Moressi's videos on writing and then discovered like, oh, this is a whole community of people. This isn't just one girl who makes writing videos. And I think at some point I must have, you know, done that with BookTube, like stumbled upon someone talking about books, and I honestly, I just don't remember. I think it was probably when I started doing AuthorTube videos, I also learned that BookTube is a thing, but at that time I wasn't really that big of a reader, and I definitely was more of a writer than a reader, which I still kind of am that. So I didn't feel like making a BookTube channel because I was mostly talking about writing. But now I am making more book-related videos that aren't necessarily writing-related, so here we are. Question number 14, what challenges do you think you will face what? Question number 14, what challenges do you think you will face with your channel? Well, since I've been making videos for a while, I don't really foresee any different challenges for BookTube compared to AuthorTube. It's just the same process. But I guess I would say my biggest challenge just in general is, I guess, finding time to make videos and edit them. It is definitely hard, especially when I'm making BookTube videos and wanting to read and write. Like, that's a lot of things to be doing, to do AuthorTube, BookTube, writing and reading. You know, whenever I have free time, I have to decide which of those 4 things I'm gonna spend that free time on. And sometimes it's just hard to balance. If I'm just always wanting to read a book and I never want to film or I never want to write, then those other things are going to suffer. So I just have to balance things well, which is sometimes difficult, especially filming, because that requires like a whole setup and a whole production and, you know, doing my hair, my makeup and everything. And it's just not something that I always feel like doing. So that's why sporadically every once in a while you get a week where I don't put out a new video because I just didn't feel like it. So that's me, and I won't apologize for it. And last but not least, question number 15 is, where else can we find you? You can find me many places on the interwebs. I have a Twitter, which I honestly do not use very much. I mostly use that for just news on certain people that I like, mostly the YouTube channel Funhouse. I follow all of them, and that's pretty much what I go to Twitter for, is Funhouse related news. So you won't see a lot of writing or book stuff from me there. I also have I was gonna say a, but then I realized it was an, and then I just, you know, you get it. I also have an Instagram account, which again, I don't really like use a whole lot, but I have been trying to get into like Bookstagram pictures and stuff and like reviews because I just love those pictures, and I've been having a lot of fun taking the pictures, but then I just kind of forget to post them and I forget to like do the reviews and stuff. So yeah, I'll try to be better about that. I also have a Goodreads page that you can follow me on if you want to see what I'm up to in the reading realm. I do have a Facebook account, but I don't really often friend people who are like that I don't know at all, so that's not really relevant to any of you. I also have a website for my writing and my you know, books and stuff that I have coming out, so you can check that out. All of these links are down below in the description of every single one of my videos. So any place that I am on social media that might be relevant to you, you can check out down there. But as I said before, most of those places I do operate under the same handle, which is Cassie. So you can find me that way as well. And that is it for this tag. That was a lot of fun. Thank you to the creator of this tag, which I will also link down below, her original video. I just thought it would be a good idea to kind of introduce myself here as a part of the BookTube community, because I've been around for a while, but just on AuthorTube, and I haven't really made many connections with people on BookTube, even though I do watch their videos and I comment on some of them, but I don't really feel like I'm part of that community yet, and I would really like to be. So that's what this is for. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are part of the BookTube community and you'd like to welcome me and say hello, please do so in the comments. I'd love to get to know you all and have some more bookish friends. I don't really have a lot of friends in real life or like in my other, you know, online places where I like chat with people. I don't really know a lot of people who read fiction and read the type of fiction that I read, so it is kind of difficult for me to like have a place to chat with people about books and stuff. So I'm really hoping that I'll be able to have some awesome conversations and new friendships made in this community. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all next time and have a great day. Bye.